You are entering the PoirshaFit experience of holistic wellness. Your mental and physical health are now your number one priority. Guided by the wisdom of our ancestors, of mindfulness practices, and using food as our medicine. Healing ourselves naturally is our daily mantra. I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the PoirshaFit podcast. I am also welcoming myself back since, unfortunately, I missed podcasting last week. Shame on me. Bad girl, naughty girl. My apologies. I get into these weird spaces in my mind, dealing with technology. You know, my struggles, I've told you guys, just trying to figure new platforms out and trying to get my work out there and figuring out what is the platform for it. And I just get overwhelmed and burned out. I just remembered that. So right now I've been working on this season 2, recording my podcast. So I am recording it live. So you can actually see me being here. So in doing that, I needed to upgrade my visuals. So how to make it less grainy. That's been my challenge also. So now I have this, it's called Ecamm, and it's supposed to enhance the look of the Zoom because Zoom looks very grainy. You don't realize it until the recording is done and then you see it and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many glitches. Like, I don't want to put this out there. And I just get really frustrated and overwhelmed and I disappear. So that was a part of the problem. But honestly, last week I had intention of obviously recording on Monday. So I record on Mondays. I decided to steam and shower that morning at like 6 a.m. I was like, oh, I'll go over to Equinox and do my little thing. So I did my little thing. Then I got out to my car and guess what? The car wouldn't start. The longest story short, because you know that whole process takes so many hours. I had I thought it was my battery, so the AAA battery guy came out. It wasn't my battery, and then I had to wait for another tow truck to come and actually tow my vehicle to my place. And of course, it was my starter, which I had already fixed a year ago, so it was luckily under warranty. But just that whole process of waiting, getting my car. Then I took an Uber to go get my other vehicle that I have. And it was a lot. It was Poirsha was doing the most that morning. So then when I got back, finally around noon, I just didn't have it in me. I was like, there is way too much thinking going on this morning, way too much me trying to plan in my head. That I just couldn't make it happen. So I apologize. No excuses, right? Just it is what it is. But here's something interesting too, though. There was a posting. I told you when we teach at Equinox, I have 2 jobs. My first main job is I'm a senior Pilates instructor in the studio. So with all the equipment, that's my home space, doing one-to-one privates with members. Those people pay for sessions, right? Then my second job is I'm a group fitness instructor. So I teach mat Pilates classes, yoga classes, meditation classes, whatever I'm qualified, certified to teach, I can teach. So I have several classes a week that I teach. Also, the opportunity there is we could sub. So if other group fitness instructors needs a sub, I can do that. So they send out an email and we see like, hey, I wonder if I can teach at this time. So Mondays, I don't teach in the mornings. I just teach clients in the evening. There was a 10 a.m. available to teach a yoga class at Studio City Equinox. And I was considering it the night before. I was like, you know what? I could do it. I could still record the podcast and sub that class at 10 a.m. on Monday. And something inside me said, girl, no, like that's going to take too many hours of your day. And it's just a feeling of, I don't think that's a good fit. And sure enough, it wasn't a good fit because I would have been stranded at the other Equinox location telling them, I'm so sorry, I need you to resub. So unprofessional, right? But my point in saying that is there's something going on inside, and it's that intuition, it's that feeling of maybe not, right? And then so I made the right choice. So I just, even when I'm away and I'm off and no one sees me because I'm not posting online, a lot of things are happening within me where I'm feeling like I'm tapping deeper into myself. And even though I have these feelings of overwhelm, I am overwhelmed because there's so much creativity inside of me. There's so many ways that I want to show up in my teaching, which is my gift. My educational skills is my anointing. And that is something that has taken a long time to finally acknowledge and embrace and to step into. Because so many people will tell you that, oh, you're just either like overly confident or you're cocky about something that you feel confident in. And those people, honestly, they're just haters. But I had to say it and know it and be like, Poirsha, this is your calling. This is your gift. You're a teacher. You're a leader. You're an educator. And I've been this way my whole life. It's people have always come to me for advice. They always feel safe sharing their darkest, I mean, dark. Okay, I've heard the darkest of the darkest inner workings of people's minds, and they just feel safe doing that with me. And they know that whatever I tell them, whether it's advice or any guidance, that it's coming from a genuine, loving place. That's a heavy burden, by the way, because you have to keep people's secrets. You can't just tell other people. So I definitely hold that in, and I hold it with a lot of love. And the thing about my gift is that people who are much older than me are also those people who feel like they can come to me for advice, right? It's not really normal for older people to feel like I want advice from this younger woman. But when you sit and you talk with me, you're like, she's not as young as I thought. This woman has been here before. And that's the feeling that people have always felt when they are just around me. My stepdad has said it my entire life. He's like, that girl has been here before. And I actually want to speak on that. For people who are very religious, I don't think they're so open to exploring what that actually means. But they believe it. They'll say, that person has been here before. That child, they just have a knowing where. And then I say, you guys, do you know what that means? That means that's pretty much reincarnation. And as soon as you bring up that word, those churchy people are like, oh, no, 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 no. But you said someone's been here before. So if that's the case, they had to be reincarnated. And we had to come here time and time again. For Poirsha, I had a reading done from my meditation teacher. She's a Jyotish, and she also taught me transcendental meditation. So that's the meditation practice that I've been doing since 2017. I started my meditation practice. I went with her for a week. I don't remember what happened, but I would think I would go there every day and we would meditate together. And then on the final day, she read my birth chart. So the birth chart is where you give your time of birth, the date of birth, and the location. And based on that information, they can see where the planets were in relation to the other. And all of that just literally gives you this map of your life of what happened and what could potentially happen. And I emphasize the what could potentially happen because it's not guaranteed. It really is. Your destiny is not predetermined. You have a decision to make. You have a choice. You can change it based on your actions. And that's what my teacher has always told me. Like, you're in charge. It's whatever you decide. But this is kind of like what could happen if you kind of just go at the status quo. And what she told me in that session, I never had an experience like that before. I wasn't into this yogi life heavily at that point in time. So it was all new. But she told me so many things that I wasn't really ready for at the time because I was so brand new at it. But she was dead spot on with talking about my relationship with my mom and my sister and my dad and stepdad, and she told me basically things like, this isn't your first relationship with your mom and your sister. You've done it again and again, and you've needed to heal these relationships. Also, obviously you've been here several times before. Like, this isn't your first life journey here. Also, other things is just other things, other important things. And one of the things that she kept saying is, you doing the work that you do, working with the earth and your Ayurveda studies. She said, you working with food, that makes sense because of whatever this planet and all of these things. Just so you guys know, I am a Libra as far as birth month, but when I was born, my rising sign is a Leo. She said people can see me as a Virgo. My sign is very interesting in that I'm I'm a recluse. I've been very uncomfortable and unsure in my skin my whole life, really. But I'm meant to be on center stage, out at front, right? Taking that leadership role puts you in the spotlight. And I've always kind of, in a way, shied away from it. But if I need to step up, I will. And I do take opportunities to step up and be in the spotlight, although I'm uncomfortable in it. But when I teach, that's when I'm the most comfortable in the spotlight, because I'm the teacher. Everyone's looking at me and listening to me, and I just command the room because that's where I feel most comfortable. So it's an interesting dynamic. But so because of that, people think I am an extrovert. I am extremely non-extroverted, actually. I have been an awkward little introvert my entire life. My circles have always been small of friends. I'm not a person who has a lot of friends. I never have. I always had like one close friend that I hung out with in school. And I remember I would have different ones depending on the year. And I was always kind of quick to dropping that friend, just because people do people things and it irritates me. Like, people aren't reliable. People don't stick to their word. And guess what? I am people. I'm not perfect. I also do those people things. But in general, my intentions are to do what I say I'm going to do. I like keeping to my word. That's important to me, my character. But, being a human being is tough. We drop the ball a lot. And in this journey of my spiritual journey of going deeper and learning more about who I am underneath this flesh, it has led me to a place where I've accepted that as so long as we are human beings, we are always going to make mistakes. We are always going to fall short of people's expectations because we're human. Like, that's the reason why we chose to be human, is to be flawed. I mean, this goes really deep into my beliefs about spirituality. We are these spiritual beings also who are, I believe, perfect, like the God energy. We all came from the source, which is God. We are pieces, extensions, branches of God, of this source. So within that, we are perfect. We are all knowing. We know everything already. We know about what goes on in that spiritual realm. But I like to say, imagine if you have the ultimate superpower where you know everything, you can do anything you want to do. There's nothing that you can't do. How boring would that be? You're always looking for something new to experience. And I do believe that it's this curiosity that brought our spiritual being self into this human body. Because how fun is it to have all the powers? You just trump everybody, you know? We want to have some kind of different experience. And I believe that God, as the creator, God is the prime example of that. God is the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-everything. So why would God create life? Why would God create Earth, the planets, whatever God created? Why? What's the point? Well, what would you do? If you don't create anything, it's just darkness. But God has a desire to create. And for variety, when you create, there's variety. And I believe that we are a part of God's imagination. That's why I exist. What if God said, I wonder what life would look like if I did this, right? And then Earth was created. I wonder what life would look like if there was a Black girl who was this feet tall, who came from these types of parents, who looked like this dimension. What if she has these huge muscular thighs? And what if she was very insecure about herself and uncomfortable in her body? But what if she was born to this mom who just inspired her and who always kept pushing her to overcome all of her obstacles? And what if she had a stepdad who was very present in her life? And what if her dad was not as present, but she just revered him like he was the all of everything? And what if she had a sister? I just really believe that is how it went. And that is why we exist. And I don't believe that God is judging any of us, actually. And that's where my views differ from Christianity. I mean, I was raised a Christian, born and raised a Christian, but I've stepped away from religion because I just see a broader picture. Like, I don't believe God is judging me on the decisions that I made. Why would the person who created you judge you? If someone who created you because they loved you and they were interested in allowing you to express yourself and to see where that goes, why would that very being who allows for you to be whoever you want to be to then now punish you for making decisions that other people disapprove of? That's where I have a huge gap in belief. So I believe that we are here because we are created from love. And being created from love is the ultimate love. I mean, unconditional love we were created from. And I wrestle with this one. It's unconditional love. Is it possible for a human being to unconditionally love another human being? Because we can easily say that, well, yeah, of course. But then you think about it, okay, so let's go down this line of questioning of, well, would you still love the person if? Right? And I think with romantic relationships, if you ask someone, would you still love your partner unconditionally if they did these things? And I think at some point people would say no, or I don't know, right? I think the example that is one that worked for me is asking about my niece and my nephew. Well, I have two nieces now. My nephew, it's, could these children do anything in life that would make me not love them? And the answer is no. I think no matter what they would do. I mean, when I think about it, I mean, we're talking the worst horrible thing that someone can do to somebody. I don't know that I wouldn't love that person. And then I'm not a mom yet, but I think about moms and their children. There are moms who have died at the hands of their kids because they've loved their children so much that no matter what their children did, no matter how their behaviors presented themselves, they still loved them. And I know a family where the child killed their mother. They weren't a child, they were a full grown adult, killed their adult mother and the grandfather in a horrible, awful way. And that relationship, they were very close to actually my mom and their church family. It was awful. But the mom dying at the hands of her son, she loved her son. And she probably knew he was troubled. She was probably scared. But she loved him anyway. So I don't think there's anything to blame. And then I do believe in life beyond this human body, our soul's journey. I believe that what we do here in this body does affect our journey in our soul after we leave this body. I believe that I came here in this life at this time, in this body, as people know me as Poirsha, to dive deeper into my soul, to learn more about me and who I am. And in my learning more about me and who I could be, my potential, I am connecting deeper with other soul beings. I am connecting more with the people around me in their spiritual selves, and also the people who have passed on. Because I am still connected with the loved ones who have passed on. I've been receiving information, I call it from the beyond realm, from the soul realm, for as long as I've known. I've been visited in my dreams my whole life. So every single night I dream. Poirsha's had dreams. They're very vivid. I'm very active in my dreams. People who are in my life now and who've always been in my life, family members, friends, they've always shown up in my dreams. And we're always on these crazy adventures, having all kinds of weird conversations. They're always kind of weird, right? They're off. Some of them are extremely disturbing, but those are dreams. And the thing is, when you have had dreams every day your whole life, and I know that I can remember all of them if I woke up in the morning and I really tried to remember, but I'm actively dreaming because, well, we'll hold off on the because, but also people have told me my whole life that, Poirsha, you talk in your sleep. Like, girl. And it's like I'm talking in my sleep because I'm dreaming, because I'm actively involved. So people have woken me up like, you're talking again. Like, I've actually woken myself up plenty of times from talking. Or recently, I think I told you guys, I shared with you when my grandma was in my dream, who had passed on years ago, visiting me. I remember in that dream, we embraced. It was like, Grandma. Oh, don't start crying, Porsche. Oh, Lord. Dang it. Ugh. Aw. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't expect that one. ah, it was a dream not too long ago where my grandma didn't recognize me. She was like, "Well, who are you?" And I'm like, "Grandma, it's me, Poirsha." And she recognized me, and we embraced. I'm crying like a baby. Oh man. Oh, that's what happened. We embraced in my dream. We hugged each other, and I just cried. We cried. We were so happy to see each other because in the dream I felt it's been so long, and it has been. My grandma passed away in 2015 before my whole yoga life and this whole life of mine, how plant based and like super fit again, before it began. But I know that she's with me because obviously she visited me. And so, anyway, I woke up crying. And because I've been communicated with many, I've experienced deaths that most people will never have to experience in their life, as many deaths as I have, people so close to me. So that also helps with why I am the way that I am and why I feel so connected and why I see things as a bigger deal than what they are. Why I take my fitness and my health so seriously. It's because of all of these life experiences that I know that in some ways this life and this human body, you can see it as it doesn't even matter because we're all going to die anyway, right? That's what a lot of people say. Like, why should I deprive myself of eating meat and eating the desserts and the sweets that I want when I'm just going to die anyway? Why stop smoking? Well, maybe I die faster because I smoke, or maybe I don't. Right? These are the reasonings of people, and everyone's reasons are valid. And I'm sure that I was those people and in one of my lives before. And I believe that with this whole view on life, this is what's made me be more relatable to people, because I had this realization that I am not above other people just because I was disconnected with my emotions. Because I was a former super competitive athlete for majority of my life, I was that person who was just mind over matter. Like, your body doesn't matter. It's about your mind. Get your head in the game. Don't worry about how you feel about a thing. Just do the thing. My coaches never let up on me. They never gave me a break. "Oh, Poirsha, you have your period today?" Luckily, thank God, I don't have cramps. Even to this day, I still don't get cramps, which is a blessing. I don't know how. I don't, but I still don't, thank God. But whatever, like, even um if you don't have cramps, you still have hormonal Im- imbalances going on. I'm still bloated. Like, I'm over here trying to cover up my bloated belly from you guys. I'm embarrassed. Uh, but so I still get symptoms. I still feel very emotional around this time, just without the cramps. But coaches don't care. Our coaches never cared. And I just find it funny that even I told you all that my clients have told me, "Oh, I'm on my period." So they don't want to actually work out on their period. Or if they're on their period, they want a light workout because they feel like if they're doing too much, if they're going too hard with the pressure, especially because we're focused on the core so much, that they said it creates a larger flow. So these are things I never even thought was an option of, oh, you don't feel well, so you don't have to do it. It was more like, you don't feel well, well, that's just too bad. Do it anyway. So, as I've mentioned, because I've been on this journey of going deeper within Poirsha, who is she? Who is she in relation to other people? And how can I connect better with life around me? Not just with other humans, but with animals and with plants in nature, right? You see my plants here? I talk to my plants. My grandma taught me that. My mom taught me that. You talk to your plants. You speak lovingly to your plants. You speak lovingly to yourself. I'll say something funny. My grandma, when I was young, it took me a long time to grow breasts, I'll call them. Sounds so weird. But because puberty, it takes a long time when you're an athlete. Like, I didn't get my period until I was 16 or 17. I think I was 16. I was in 11th grade. Yeah, I was 16 when I got my period. So that's a long time. Many women get it at 10, 11, 12. So I didn't have breasts really developed. They were super tiny. My grandma used to tell me I would complain because all my cousins had big ones. I was like, Grandma. She's like, you got to talk to them. You have to rub them and talk to them to help them to grow. She might have been on to something. Then they did. They were quite big. And then now I have all this muscle and I'm holding on to what I have left, which is, it's substantial. It's enough. But this deeper connection with all things and all beings is what I desired in this life. So moving out of being so competitive where I can't relate to people because I think they're all weak. Like, you guys are talking about your emotions. You're weak. I don't understand you. You have problems with your weight? Well, fix it. Stop eating so much. Work out more. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But nobody wants to hear it in that manner, right? We need to be more gentle in the way that we speak, in the way that we communicate. I think that this journey has been for me to be more gentle and to step deeper into my femininity. It sounds so weird to say, but I believe when you cut off your emotions, as I did, and you just focus on the facts, and you completely disregard how you feel about anything, you are more in your masculine, because those are masculine traits, which we have both within, right? Our left side body is our feminine cooling side. Our right side body is our masculine energy, the heating. So my journey has been to be more in my feminine. And that has been in the works of even my romantic relationships, how to step into that role. And then what happens when you step into that role, but then the person falls out of their role, and then you have to step back into that role? The relationship doesn't work so well. And then I just need to separate myself and be back to myself. So here I am by myself. And the realization that I had is I must accept the fact that I am a person who does not need a man. I don't need them to live my life and to be happy. I was with someone for 9 years. Then we haven't been together for 6 years. So I've been single for 6 years after that long relationship. And at this point in my life, I don't need anyone romantically. Needing and wanting are two different things. I desire that because I enjoy the male and female interaction in the partnership. And if I trust the man enough, then I can step easily into my feminine. But it's just when the man loses my trust, then it's like survival mode again. Oh, I need to make sure that I'm okay. So I have to just be in control and in charge of my life and make sure that no other person is going to throw me off of where I'm trying to get to. But you can get there maybe faster. It doesn't matter about pace, right? We're not in a race. This is life. But maybe I can get there more peacefully, like without so much drama and stress with somebody else. Maybe, or maybe not. Maybe they create more drama than peace. So I don't know. There's just a lot of different things, but I could live this life easily single. I'll be doing this podcasting, teaching, educating. It's what I love to do, having workshops and training people and getting people fit and having them prioritize their mental health and their physical health. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, whether I'm by myself, whether I have a partner, whether I have children. This is my life. Now, the one thing that I realized is that with children, the reason why I know that I will be a mom is because my kids visited me. They visited me in 2020. And believe it or not, it wasn't in a dream. It was not in a dream this time. I was awake when it happened. I was in the backyard. And my oldest child presented themselves to me. And I just bawled my eyes out. So the kids, there's more than one. I keep this information very much to myself. So no one knows how many kids, what birth order, what sex they will be, but I know. I know their birth order. I know the sex. I know their names. I know their energies. So the energy didn't present itself until I don't know, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, where they actually have a color, an energetic color. And those energetic colors are how I recognize them. And it's a feeling. So I connected with them. And the one thing about that is I wasn't sure at the time, because this is 2020 when I received the visit. Of course, then I was single. So there's no man around. And these kids say that I'm their mom. It was a crazy feeling because I never thought about that really, of myself being a mom. But it made me emotional to think that there's some being somewhere waiting for me. The timing. So I wrestled with that. Do I even want kids? At the immediate time, I was like, oh, thank you so much for showing yourself to me. But that's going to be in another life, kid, because it sure is not going to be in this life. I was like, but it's good to know that there is a being that would think that I'm worthy enough to be their mom. It took me many years to finally make the decision that, okay, I will be a mom. I happily accept you to come into my life and for me to birth you into this world. That's a big deal. For me to say yes, okay. And so obviously it's like, all right, kid, I need your dad. And I need a really great father for you. I've been single without kids for a long time. My parents had me when they're in their early 20s. I'm in my 30s. I'm ancient for people considering to have kids. But the truth is I know that I needed to be ready to be the guide for my children. I needed to have lived so many different experiences so that I can meet my children where they are on their journey. I don't want this relationship that we have, these adults with their children, of I'm the adult, I'm bigger than you, I know more than you, I'm smarter than you, so I'm better than you, so that I'm talking down to you, because that happened to me. And I don't want that for my kids. I want to say that I want to create the space for them to experience life, and I want to share my experiences with them without overwhelming and bombarding them with fear because of something happened to me. So now I'm passing on that fear to them, or any anger or any resentments that I've had to anybody in my life, that I pass it on to my children. You know that movie title with all that drama, it ends with us, I think it is. Well, for me, it ends with me. I've actively worked on all of my darkness and my demons and my hurts and resentments. And I've been working on my relationships and mending them with people. And the truth is I've mended relationships with people who didn't even know we needed to mend our relationship. Because I believe that all of these relationship interactions, most of them, we could do ourselves. It's the inner work. It's, how do I view this person? Why do I view them this way? Is this a proper way to view this individual? Have I placed them on a pedestal? When did I do that? Why did I do it? Why do I hold them to this standard? Or why don't I hold them accountable to their actions? Why do I just allow them to just do whatever they want? Why don't I set boundaries with myself? What are those boundaries? Maybe I call them less. Maybe in the way that I think about them, I've shifted it. I've taken them off the pedestal, and I realize that they're a human being just like me. I try to find some commonalities, or try to understand it, try to step into their shoes where, they were this age when they birthed me. I wonder what their thoughts were. Maybe they weren't ready. Maybe they said that. Should I hold on to this grudge? Should I be mad at them for that? At the end of the day, it's no. Because I go back to my whole theory, my whole belief of that we are born from love. We came from God. We are a piece of God. God lives within us. So we have the capacity to unconditionally love. So yes, I answered that question. I finally answered it. I believe, yes, as human beings, we can love unconditionally. And that is the work that I've been working on. This is my spiritual journey, to be able to love everyone unconditionally. It is a huge challenge to do so. I've been tested so many times, and it's not always perfect, right? I believe we have the capacity. But sometimes in life, we have to love people from a distance. And that is love. It's, I love you enough that we just need to be far away, but spiritually, we are connected. And I believe so much in this spiritually connected that I believe that I can communicate with these beings even without us being together. We can talk. Why? How do I know? Because people who are alive communicate with me in my dreams. Tell me intimate things. Things that they don't say in person, they tell me in my dreams. I have understandings because of my dreams, because of what my gifts have shown me. I'm a visionary. I have vision. That's my gift. I could see into my future. I can see where I'm going to be. So my challenge in this life has been, I've always seen myself as where I wanted to be in a way, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. But I knew that if I constantly followed my intuition, if I continually listen to, yes, take this training, yes, learn from this teacher, yes, talk to this person, these little people along the way, these situations that are happening are all leading up to me becoming this person. I believe in the law of attraction and people coming into your lives for a reason, for a season, and sometimes forever. And that even though these people may not always be presently physically in your life, that they are within you. They are here with you. Just like my grandma's here with me always. She's been gone for, oh my gosh, this August will be a decade. And this woman has visited me in this decade. So she is alive. She is somewhere. And we are still connected. And she's not the only person. There's so many more, but this isn't the time for that. But I believe we're all connected. And I want us to just give ourselves grace, because we have been where the people that we talk bad about, you've been there before. You've been that person who's been clueless, who's all over the place, who's a mess. You know, you're a hot mess. She's a hot mess. She does. Well, it's like, well, did you ever do that? Have you ever been that person? So maybe you should cut them some slack. So that's where I've been working on less judging of people and being more graceful with them and with myself, and being more open-minded to, you never know what people are going through. You never know what's going on in their minds and what's happened in their life that's made them the person that they are. And just remember that in your other life, you could have been that very person that you cannot stand. And in another life, as this comedian pointed out, you could have been another race. I know I wasn't black all my lives. At some point, I probably was some blonde white girl who had it all. Maybe life was easy. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe I was Asian. I don't know. I don't know who I was. But if you just try and if you're working to feel more connected and to be more at peace, because that's really what it is. Feeling more connected makes you feel more at peace. And I'm at a stage in my life, I just want peace. So I want to mend these relationships. I want to get out these bad feelings inside and talking bad about people. I don't want to do that. I want to cleanse myself of that. Just be like, you know what? We're all here. We're all flawed. We're all mess ups. And so what? No one's better than the next person. We're all trash because we're human beings. Now, but we're also soul beings. We're spiritual beings. And in that, we are perfect. These are my beliefs, and this is why I am the way that I am, and this is why I've taken this journey. And that's why I teach what I teach. And I hope that you guys heard me out. And maybe you don't agree with some of the things that I said, but maybe in some ways you can understand. And the whole point is I'm a person who is trying to learn to love myself unconditionally. And I feel like I have. Learning to love yourself no matter what, no matter if, and trying not to disappoint yourself. It's a big deal. We put too much pressure on ourselves. I'm trying to do my best, and I hope that you are also trying, because why not? Why not? All right. This is a great place to end for today. I definitely didn't talk about anything that I wanted to talk about today. All my notes, please. I didn't get through any of that. That's okay. We'll be back for the next one. I guess that's what happened when you take a break. You guys get to hear about all the inner workings of my mind and what I'm really going through on a day-to-day basis. It's not easy living in this brain of mine and doing what I'm called to do. And it's just to be here with all of you and to share and be vulnerable. That is the main thing. Poirsha needed to learn how to be vulnerable, to trust that it's safe and it's okay to speak your mind and to speak your truth. And people will either love you or they'll dislike you, and that's okay. Let's do 3 closing breaths because I need it too. Let's take a big inhale. Let it out. Breathe it in and out. Last one, best one. I'm going to go get some potatoes and pancakes. I'm going to reward myself. All this crying. I'm so sorry, you guys. I won't do this every time, I promise. Thank you all so much for welcoming me back. I'm so happy to be back. I'm probably going to record double episodes because I missed, and I don't want you guys to miss this season. All right. I will be back. You will hear from me. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.